This is all about how to sell on Amazon. Okay, so I am Roughneck Actual, aka Rico. If you guys do not know, if you follow me on social media like IG, Facebook, I'm all about the Roughnecks Ecom Bootcamp. That's what my YouTube channel is about. It's about helping you guys make money, specifically make money on Amazon, because I have been a seller for 6 years and I just absolutely love the platform. All right. So who am I, man? Who am I? Who's this guy, with the mug over here telling you should sell on Amazon? So first and foremost, I'm a military vet. If you guys did not know, I was in the Air Force before all of this. You don't make a ton of money in the Air Force, and that's actually what led me into getting into e-commerce. Over a decade later, I am here. I'm a 7-figure e-com seller. I sell millions of dollars on Amazon a year, whether that be through private label, wholesale, or retail arbitrage, or / online arbitrage, as you guys may know. I have a physical business. I have a car shop. If you guys do not know that, it's called Speed Circuit. It's out in Mays Landing, New Jersey. We primarily handle a bunch of Evos and things like that. I'm a real big car guy. So, I love cars. You guys check me out on social media. You'll see all of them. I have a small fleet. I'm an e-commerce mentor and coach, and I feel that because I do millions of dollars a year, I can help you guys. I have tons of experience, whether that be on Amazon or Shopify, even eBay to a lesser extent. And, I am an Amazon automation expert. So, I have an automation service. I handle accounts for people. I make sure that they make money in kind of a passive manner. So, I feel that, I can help you guys out. So let's stick around. There's going to be tons of giveaways. And let's make sure you guys take notes. All right. There's going to be tons of information. So take as many notes as possible. It's going to be important. And if you do, you guys stick around, there's a really nice treat towards the end. All right. So you guys are probably still sitting here like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I actually do. These are sales coming from, some of my students. Okay. It's all about the measure of, success when it comes to how you put that information, towards your students and how they consume it. Okay. I've helped thousands of people sell online, whether that be through Amazon or through Shopify, Amazon primarily. You don't have to sell $200,000-$300,000 a year in order to be happy. All right. Now, there's going to be a caveat, and we're going to explain that throughout, because everyone thinks you guys are going to do $1 million, but that's almost impossible unless you have capital, and that's what we're going to break down. And then here's even more, guys. These are some of my student results, some of my client results here. These guys are doing 10K in 30 days. You guys can do the exact same thing, and guess what? AMZScout is what makes this all possible. Okay, AMZScout is the only tool that I've used in my Amazon journey to get to this level where I'm doing private label and wholesale. All right, it's very important that you guys get the right software, because without it you can't do these numbers. All right, now let's break down what you guys are going to be learning. All right, there's so much going on. Okay, why is Amazon a great way to generate cash flow? All right, it's such a lucrative business model, man. It's so lucrative there. You can start using this to fund your other ventures, the whole nine. Okay, it's absolutely amazing. Amazon, it's a beautiful platform, and I wish everyone knew that they could sell on it. And then we're going to talk about how you can shorten the time to your first sell. So, you guys aren't spinning your wheels and trying to figure out all these different things. We're just going to cut right to it, get right to the source to help you guys out. And we're going to talk about how you guys can turn your ideas into money, turn it into cash flow, into a 6 or 7 figure business, right? You guys don't know what you don't know yet, but after this webinar, you will, and you'll be armed with the right tools to get there. All right. AMZScout is definitely going to help. Trust me. If you guys don't believe me, just wait. It's going to be a doozy, man. You guys are in for a real treat. So we're going to talk about which method is right for you, because there's multiple selling methods, and a lot of people don't understand that you don't just have to do private label. You don't just have to do all these mundane things, right? You can do so much more. And then we're going to talk about how you can leverage the free traffic that Amazon has, because believe me, you're going to want to. Okay, and you can leverage it in a way that isn't necessarily spammy or scammy. Now, who's going to benefit from this? There's a lot of people that are getting into the space that don't really understand what's going on. They're kind of misinformed. There's a lot of swirl in the Amazon community, a lot of these, gurus telling you that, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. You guys really don't have the right information to make an informed decision on which method is going to be right for you. Some people, they're uncertain. They don't know if they should be selling on Amazon. They don't know where to begin. They don't know a lot of things, right? So we need to, be mindful of that. And, when sellers like me, $1 million sellers are going through this and trying to help you guys, we need to understand that some of you are at the very beginning stages. And then there's other people who are just looking for new ways to make money. There's other people out there that, have been selling on Amazon. You guys are doing pretty well, but you may need a little bit of extra help. And this is going to be, for you as well. And then of course, the dreaded Shopify thing, right? And a lot of people are going to say, oh, but Shopify, we can do the same thing. Amazon, this, trust me, guys, the margins on Shopify are not what people say they are. They're actually much, much smaller due to the fact you have to run ad traffic and everything else. And you're doing a lot of testing. So even if you do get sales, you're not going to make a ton of money right off the bat. Or just, it's not worth it for the beginner. You got to know how to drive that traffic. You got to know how to convert that traffic. You got to know web development. I'm a software engineer by trade. Okay, that is what I do. Okay, and that's what I'm a software engineer. That's what I went to college for. That's just my thing. So it's tough, man. You got to build out a whole website. It's kind of a pain, and you don't want to have to go through that process and figure it all out on your own. There's so many paid themes. There's just so much. And then again, the marketing, right? The retargeting customers and stuff like that. We don't need that. Amazon provides all the traffic that you can that you need. So let's go ahead. Let's move forward. Oh, seems like we got a question. Hey, Yim Wang, we're gonna check this out. So there is a question. This guy's from Canada. He plans to sell on Amazon US and Canada and Europe markets. You should set up a cross-border account. It really just depends on what platform you really want to start selling on. I do not recommend selling on all three because it is not worthwhile. You need to master one platform. So if I were you, in being in Canada, I would sell on Amazon Canada first, or US. I would not move over to Europe until you are ready. And when you do move over to Europe, you're going to need business bank accounts over in those areas where you can transfer the currencies in and out. Now you can sell on Amazon Europe with just your American account, but I do not recommend it if you're trying to go larger for like private label, wholesale, things of that nature. Okay, and that's actually what we're going to get into right now. So there's multiple styles of selling. There's online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, where people are going to like Home Depot, Target, Lowe's. They're going into the store, getting products on sale and sending them in FBA or fulfilling them themselves, fulfilled by merchant versus fulfilled by Amazon. It's probably the easiest way to get started, whether you're drop shipping or you're going into, sending it out yourself or, Amazon. But it's very expensive because typically a lot of these items have very, very high sales ranks, and you are going to just blow through inventory and money. Okay, and if you guys don't believe me, you're going to see. Okay, so then there's private label, and that's probably the method that the majority of you are familiar with. Okay, when people are talking about Amazon FBA, they're typically talking about private label FBA, where you're going to Alibaba, you're getting a product from there, you're branding it, you're packaging it, you're having them send it into Amazon, the whole nine. And it's the cheapest but slowest method because you guys don't know what you don't know, and you're doing a ton of product research. But tools like AMZScout Pro can kind of speed that up a little bit because there are niche identifiers that can help you get a jump start on that. Now, the margins are typically highest because it is your product, okay? You're getting it for very, very cheap, selling it for a really high markup in most cases, and Amazon's a trusted platform, so you can do that. All right. And then there's wholesale, which is what I do a lot of because I have a car shop, and obviously I have a lot of wholesale suppliers, and therefore I can leverage them. Now, some wholesale suppliers do not want you selling on Amazon, but they will allow it of a sort as long as you're not driving the price down and selling below their minimum advertised price. Okay, their MAP. And this is a good all-around model for certain people. Hey, Drew, PPC is going to hurt your brain, man. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit later, but let's try to answer this real quick. I would not. You actually have a lot of questions, but let's go ahead and try to handle some of these. Do we put all high-performing keywords in all manual campaigns in a negative auto? What you should be doing in the very beginning is, if you already know your keywords, you should be putting those in manual campaigns and putting those in like negative manual. Like negative auto is nice to have, but when you know which keywords are making you money, you should be manually cycling those out. Initially, you should be doing what's what pretty much every seller should be doing is going into auto campaigns, pulling out those good keywords, and then removing the negatives and putting them into a manual one. You don't put negative keywords into every campaign. And what do you do with low and high performing phrases and broad? You don't necessarily need to put your high performers in an exact match. It depends, and it's really going to depend on your product. I don't know enough about your product to give you that one. I'd have to actually see the competition. So shoot me an email. The information is going to be there. All right. Now, so online arbitrage, guys, this is, the whole drop shipping either from Walmart or Target or Lowe's, or going in to a Walmart, Target or Lowe's, getting the items, sending them out yourself, or sending them in to FBA. All right. And it's a super quick spin up. Anyone can do it, guys. Like, it's super, super, super quick. You can be up and running in the same day. You can literally go in a, Dollar General with the Amazon app and scan and be like, okay, this is what it's selling for. AMZScout is probably the way to go with that, though, because it's going to help you determine what things are selling at overall in each category and niche. But it can be cost prohibitive, because if you want to scale, you got to have money. You got to have resources, especially when you're drop shipping and not actually doing the FBM, FBA model. You're just, well, technically drop shipping is FBM, but it just gets very, very expensive because they scale really fast. A lot of these items have really high sales ranks, and you will be just blown up. Okay, I can tell you firsthand. I've seen stores go from 10K in 1 month to 50K the next month. And if you don't have money, you're out of luck. All right, especially when it comes to drop shipping. Not so much when it comes to like the going in a store method. And there's also going to be a lot more competition because, again, the sales ranks are very, very high. So in turn, a lot of sellers are going to be on these items. Okay, they want to make their money too, man. They're trying to get paid just like you guys are. And these would be examples of certain retail arbitrage products that you would get from like Walmart and Home Depot. As you can see here, this is these are the free previews of what these things are doing. You're seeing how much profit is being made on these, the gross sales, the profit margin, and it's going to be lower. Okay, it's going to be much, much lower when it comes to retail arbitrage, just for the sheer fact that there's going to be a lot more sellers on there. Hey, how you doing, Bernard? Good to see you. So you don't want to get into this method unless you actually have a decent amount of capital. Trust me, it's a very painful experience when you get there and you just start losing your store because your metrics tank because you don't have the money to fulfill these. And as you can see here, the buy box percentage is pretty decent on these. Okay. But again, you got to be careful, and these are some of the items that you're going to be selling. Like, you're going to be finding these wicker chairs in Walmart all the time. They're going to be on sale, especially, during, colder months. If you're out here, like in the Northeast, like I am, where people aren't going to be buying these to sit out on their front porch. They're going to be buying blankets to stay bundled. And we need to talk about how you guys go about finding these OA products. Okay, these online arbitrage or retail arbitrage products. You don't want to have too many sellers on there. You want to find maybe 2 to 3 sellers on an item, because you're not going to be creating listings. You're going to be jumping on listings that are already pre-existing. Okay, any more than that, then what's going to happen is you're going to create what's called a dead listing, which means you're going to drive the price down so low because you're going to be competing for people. You're going to be competing for eyes, for sales. You're going to be competing to get the buy box. If you don't have the buy box, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to sell. When you guys go to Amazon and you see a product that you like and it says buy now, that is the buy box. If it doesn't have that, what happens? You guys click find from other sellers. Okay, and then they got to search through and all that. And if you're a brand new seller, typically people aren't going to buy from you because there's no trust established. So as a new seller, to get the buy box, you kind of have to drive the price down. And at some point, you're kind of screwed. All right, you're kind of screwed on that front, and you don't want that to happen. Alpha Berry, yes, I am sharing slides. I'm not sure why you don't see them. They're going through right now. You might want to check your connection on that, my guy. Okay, and let's talk about some of these problems with online arbitrage. Okay, it's partially against terms of service if you're drop shipping. Okay, if you're not drop shipping, you're good to go. Drop shipping, you can't do it. Okay, you can't do it. You cannot drop ship from Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all that stuff. Now, it's kind of a do as I say, not as I do type thing, because a lot of us do it and we're very successful with it. But as a beginner, you don't know what you don't know yet. And you should probably be using AMZScout to do that. There's actually a link in the chat where you guys can go and get a discount, okay? Trust me, you're gonna need it. All right, you are going to need it, because if you want to do $1 million a year, you need to have good software, and AMZScout is going to hook you up with that. And you need really good tutelage, which if you check out that bundle offer, guys, you get my course, you get my mentorship, you get everything that is included with AMZScout, and you get me to coach you through this process if you guys are interested in that. Highly recommend it. All right, and these margins are going to be consistently lower. All right, they're going to be lower no matter how you look at it, because there's going to be more sellers. All right, there are more sellers on these items. They're going to be competing for the buy box. You just are not going to make near as much money, because you might encounter 20 sellers on an item over the course of like 2 or 3 months. You may start off with 2 to 3 sellers on a listing, and then out of nowhere all these sellers are coming in because they see that that this is that this item is profitable, and in turn they want to get a slice of the pie too. So they're going to drive the price down, create a dead listing, and there you go. You're kind of screwed. Rafar, yes, there actually is a course. My course is going to be included in this bundle, guys. The course is included in this bundle. You'll have me coaching you and helping you out. There is a whole digital course, guys. It's step by step on how you guys can do what I'm talking about. And can you talk? You have some questions? I'm sorry, man, if I butcher your name. Samila, we'll talk about that towards the end. Put your questions in there and I will answer them as I can. Now, guys, private label is what you guys are probably most familiar with. And when people say Amazon FBA, they typically mean private label. They don't necessarily mean Amazon wholesale FBA or online arbitrage FBA. They're just mentioning private label because that's what most people know. Daniela, a live course, like, I mean, I'm gonna be there, so it's pre-recorded, and there's tons of information in there, and I mean, you're gonna be in a Facebook group and Telegram group with me, so I guess it's kind of live. But you'll have the ability to build a brand with private label. So if you guys are trying to, let's say you want to build a phone case right here, you want to have a whole company of phone cases for the Galaxy S20 Ultra right here. Well, you can do that. You can build out a whole brand of phone cases and say, hey, this is XYZ company and we do phone cases, and that's really, really nice to have, when you're trying to scale and maybe move to a different platform. The buy box is also yours, okay? No one else is going to be jumping on your item more often than not. Now, there are cases where you will have a hijacker jump on your listing, and it kind of sucks, okay? There are ways to get around it, and we actually go over that in a course. The link is right there in the chat, so you guys can get the exclusive offer. You get all the stuff with AMZScout, and you get the course that'll teach you how to do all this. And you'll get higher margins with private label, okay? Because typically you're going to be getting these phone cases right here. I know for a fact you can get a good chunk of these for around $1, okay? Maybe $1.50 if you talk to the right supplier, and then you get them shipped over to Amazon. You get them. Well, obviously you have to find a designer to do your packaging and all that stuff, but they'll go directly from the supplier to Amazon, to one of those Amazon warehouses, and Amazon will pick it, pack it, and ship it out for you. And guess what? You can bundle this with a screen protector, and you could sell it for, anywhere between $12 to $15. You buy the item for roughly, $2, and then sell it for, 12 to 15. Pretty good money if you ask me. And that, even with the FBA fees, you're still profiting, a good chunk of change, at least $3 to $4 per, for each one that you're selling. If you're selling thousands every single month, congratulations, you're making money. Whereas with retail arbitrage, if you bought one of these in a store, even if you bought them on sale and you send them in for FBA, the fees are going to eat up your profit. So you're not going to get a few dollars. You might make a few cents. And then there's a trust factor, because guess what? You can, if you're drop shipping, private label drop shipping like what I do, you can convert these over to FBA as you test them out. So it keeps you from spending a ton of money on FBA inventory, whereas you can create a listing, for one of these, and then you can test that out and see if you're getting sales. And if you're getting sales, then you go buy them in bulk, send them in, and you don't have to worry about it. And since it's on Amazon, on that platform, the trust is already there. People love Amazon. Everyone shops on Amazon. I shop on Amazon. How much would you estimate Amazon takes from you per sale in turn? 15%, roughly, give or take, depending on the item size and shape, but roughly 15%. You have an account and you're doing private label. Rafar, think you're not doing it right? Yeah, stay tuned and check me out a little bit later. We can talk about that. AMZScout, it's better for the better for the U.S. market, because the German market is a little bit different. I don't sell on the German market just because the traffic sources are different, and my suppliers are all U.S. based except for my private label things. And then the class are starting at 4 p.m. I'm going too fast. This is a webinar. The class is different. The course is way different. Trust me, you're going to be fine. Selling gloves as a private label, I would not sell gloves unless I'm going to bundle it with something else. Okay. And sorry about the no sound thing, Rafari. You already have product in stock. The course is going to help you with selling a lot of things, not just the stock that you have. Trust me, it'll help you out, because you don't know what you don't know yet, and you probably have a bad product, to be honest with you. And no, with the pandemic going on, it is the best time to get into Amazon. My sales have tripled ever since the pandemic started. Want to know why? Because people are sitting at home making money. All right. And we'll talk about some of the questions a little bit later. All right. We need to, get through the webinar because people are here for that info, man. So these are some private label products that you guys may have actually seen. Now, this company, TBI Pro, is a private label company. It's just like, me, you, or someone else jumping on and using this name. This is a pest repeller. Okay. You can get these on Alibaba for, like $10. Okay. No lie. All right. But look at how these are constructed, and using AMZScout Pro can show you, how to find these items. Okay. And then there's also towels. Towels tend to be like one of the hottest things moving. Bathroom supplies, kitchen utensils, they tend to do very well all year round because they're evergreen products. Evergreen products are what you guys need to focus on. Okay. You don't want to get an item that's seasonal unless you have multiple seasonal items. You get one seasonal item, like let's say we'll go with patty, like pool noodles. Okay, we'll go with that. Most people are not going to be buying pool noodles or floaties during the winter months because they're not going swimming. They're not going to the beach. They're not doing any of those things. They are more than likely going to be buying things to keep them warm, or buying like Christmas ornaments, or Halloween decorations, or Thanksgiving decorations, things of that nature. And when you're doing all this, when you're getting those seasonal items, once that season is over, that holiday's over, your sales tend to tank. But when you have evergreen products, you're good to go. All right, you're good to go consistently. And as you see here, AMZScout Pro will show you the ranking of the product, will give you the price, the associated FBA fees, the net margin of what you can expect to make, and then the estimated sales for that item. Then you can see the estimated revenue. But if you look right here, these towels right here, this pack of towels that you can go to Alibaba and get for just a few dollars, they're doing over $230,000 in revenue. That's massive, guys. That's really huge. And it doesn't take a lot to find these type of products. You guys think that they do, that it takes so much effort, but as long as you have the right tools, you're going to be fine. AMZScout Pro is one of the easiest tools that you guys could use. Check out the chat, click that link, get the discount, and then you get my course included with it, guys. You're getting thousands and thousands of dollars worth of value for me to be able to help you out and show you how AMZScout can make you all this money. I mean, if you look here, these guys are doing 200,000, 350,000, products like this exist all the time. And the reason why I say go with evergreen products is because of numbers like these. These right here, no matter what, people are going to need bath towels. You're not going to stop taking a bath, right? I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you just want to go all natural. But the majority of people in the world are not going to stop taking baths. These are evergreen products. This is what you should be going for. All right. Now, finding these private label products, like I said, you want to have evergreen products, but there's a lot of things you also do not want to dive into. And, you don't want to get into something that's heavily, competitive when it comes to FBA. All right. If, let's say the top 5 sellers are doing the majority of the money, if they're all doing 100K and everyone else is doing 5K, it's not an item that you want to get involved in. And AMZScout actually helps you with that. It'll give you a numerical value to say, hey, this is a good product, and here's why. It gives you tons of different options as to why you should or should not go with this. And if you're unsure, there's actually a little dice icon. We're going to show you that, where you can just click roll the dice and it'll give you a profitable niche, just in case you aren't sure. All right. You don't want to go with really, really large items unless you have the capacity to back that up, unless you have the capital. Most people don't have the capital, and that's going to be one of your limiting factors when you go with private label products. Okay. You know, don't believe the myth of, oh, you can start with $1,000. You're going to need more money than that. On average, I'd say you need anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 to do an effective product launch. Okay, you need to have the right products, get the right packaging, run the right PPC campaigns, and basically give away some of these items at a loss in order to get ranked. The larger the item, the larger the profit loss. Okay, if you guys are going with items that are massive, that's going to cost you $100 per unit, number one, you're just going to burn out of your capital just buying the products, not including the shipping, and then not including losing your behind on each one of those you have to give away at, you know, not even break even, actually, you know, maybe even $20, $30 below your actual cost. Like, it's going to kill you. All right. And electronics is notorious for that. People want to get into electronics all the time, and I try to advise them against that unless they're getting things from like a US supplier, just with the sheer fact that electronics have a very, very high return rate, also a very high failure rate. And people get them, they don't work the way that they thought that they would, they want to return them. Now you're just losing out money because Amazon is auto authorizing, you know, FBA returns, boop, right back, and then you're kind of screwed. Okay. And you want to find things that people are already looking to buy. All right. You don't want to get into these super, super niche items unless you have evergreen products that can kind of support you getting into those. All right. You do not want to just dive in and be like, okay, we're going to go ahead and get into this really, really niche product that doesn't exist and that be your only product. Because until that product blows up, if it does, you're not going to make any money. So you just wasted thousands of dollars for it to sit there and then eventually collect storage fees on each one of those items. We don't do that here, guys. We're about making money. We're not about losing money. Does AMZScout work in Canada? I actually have not used it on the Canadian marketplace, so I cannot tell you that 100%. What's the easiest way to identify a bad product? If it's not getting any sales, man, that's the easiest way to identify a bad product. Easy. If you're getting like no sales, you're done. How much do you need to start private label? I actually covered that. Private label FBA, roughly $3,000 to $4,000. Private label drop shipping, around $500. How to go over and pick your initial product. Hopefully I covered some of that for you, Yaya. And you will have access to this webinar, I do believe. Actually, you might want to ask these guys, and they'll hook you up. All right. So we'll go ahead. I'll answer some of your other questions in a second. Okay. Just let's go through some more information for these guys. Now, the problems with private label, it's very slow to get up and running, guys. It's kind of a pain to do because you got to have the right product research. You're going to have to talk to your suppliers. There's a lot of communication in between, and you have to have a really, really good logistical pipeline to make this work. It's not something that you're going to wake up tomorrow, be really, really good at, and then get a product in there. Like it could take months before you get your first private label product there, because you're going to have to get samples. You're going to have to check them out, make sure they're right. What if the sample isn't what you want? Now you got to send it back, have them make it again, send it back to you. Okay, this is good. Then you got to, make sure they can produce enough. You got to wait until they have enough inventory. Then you got to ship it to Amazon. You got to run all these different strategies. It takes a while, and it's cost prohibitive, and sometimes suppliers disappear overnight. I've had it happen to me plenty of times where a supplier just poof, they're gone. Generally you'll have like a backup, and I don't recommend finding a product that only has one supplier. Find a product that has 2 or 3 suppliers, just in case someone just decides to disappear. You can always establish a relationship with a new supplier, someone that can help you, and if you guys weren't familiar, AMZScout Pro can actually show you this item on Alibaba. Okay, so when you're searching for private label items, you can find that same item on Alibaba. I highly recommend, guys, check it out below. Go into the chat, click that link so you can get a discount, and you get hooked up with my course for free, so you guys can start doing this. You guys can actually start making money the right way and not doing things all wrong and just throwing thousands of dollars away. There's no need for it. Okay, you don't have to keep wasting money. And like I said, there's gonna be a ton of homework, guys, when it comes to private label, because you're not gonna be jumping on listings that are pre-existing. All right, you're going to be creating your listings from scratch. So now your product photography has to be on point, which I highly recommend getting a good product photographer. That could be that, well, I know hundreds of dollars because a lot of my products cost hundreds of dollars to get the product photography just right because I'm terrible when it comes to product photography. I've even had to spend $1,000 for certain products because I needed a really specific photographer to do things properly, and the one that I used was not available. So you might be spending even more money. And you need to have a good keyword strategy. The link bundles all of that together. AMZScout not only will help you find the products, it'll help you find the keywords, it'll help you find your competition's keywords, the whole nine. So it's like a reverse ASIN search. It will really help you guys out because your keywords are probably going to be one of the biggest, no-nos that you can possibly make. All right, people are just going to be tossing in keywords and they don't make any type of sense, and it's going to be irrelevant. Okay, you have to remember that the A9 algorithm is really intelligent, and Amazon is a giant search engine. If you are not labeling things correctly, in your title, your bullet points in your product description, and your back-end search terms, congratulations, your product doesn't get seen. No one knows you exist, which means you get no sales, which in turn means you don't make any money. And we're all about making money, right? We're not here to lose money, we're here to make money. Okay, and like I said, product photography, very, very important. Because if you got terrible pictures, no one's going to buy. No, it doesn't matter how awesome your product description is. People are going to look and be like, yo, this photo is all grainy and I'm not going to buy. And let's get into one of my favorite things. We're going to get into wholesale, but let me answer a couple more questions for you guys because it seems like you have a ton of them. How do you figure if a product is patented or not? Actually, I go over that in the course. You can check US patents. Last question you already have AMZScout signature. How does it work? Bro, like I would have to break it down and show you. Like send me an email so I can screen capture and show you all this stuff. How about US manufacturers wholesale? We're actually going to talk about this right now, wholesale. You already have AMZScout. You guys can use it. The course actually goes over how to use it. No, the class being included, it's not just a class, man. It's like a whole it's a whole thing. It's a whole course. How much can you make per month to tier? It's really going to depend on your on the money that you have on the capital. You can make $5, you can make $1,000. I'm actually going to talk about this once we get through this presentation. So, oh man, there's a lot of questions. All right, let me finish up and then we'll start going through the questions, and I'll try to help you guys out as best as I can. All right, so now let's talk about wholesale, and this is one of my favorites, just mainly because you can get things at such a low price and you don't have to wait for them to be on sale. The only thing is you will need a couple things, and it's kind of difficult to get if you don't set things up the right way. Now, these products, wholesale products, are kind of similar to retail arbitrage products because of the brand recognition. These are already in high demand. People already want to buy things like Craftsman's tools, Crest toothpaste, Colgate toothbrushes, Oreo cookies. They're already there. Okay, people know these brands. People want to buy. All right, they're not going to Amazon to find some no-name power drill. They're going to Amazon to find Milwaukee, to find Craftsman. All right, in some cases they might buy some hole-in-the-wall tool, but more often than not the sales are going to go to bigger brands. Okay, the profit margins are higher than online arbitrage, but that's because you're going to be getting them at wholesale prices, not at full retail prices. And you're gonna have to follow certain rules. There's going to be minimum advertised pricing, and we're going to get into that. But just know that the margins are higher. Typically with online arbitrage, especially if you're drop shipping, your margins are maybe 5%, 5 to 7%. With wholesale, you're well over double, if not triple that, just because you can get them at a much lower price. And depending on the niche that you're in, especially like industrial and scientific, sometimes your margins are 200 or 300%. So it's all about finding the right products, and we're going to break that down in a second. You're going to be building really good business relationships. Like with me and my wholesale supplier, Turn 14 is one of the biggest suppliers for me and all of my car products. They're actually out here in PA about a half hour away from me. I have a wholesale contract with them. I sell, as one of their vendors. They give me great pricing because I've been with them for so long, for over a decade now, and they can drop ship for me. They can send things directly to Amazon for me. They can pack it the way I need it to be, and that's what you guys are going to have to do. Building these good business relationships can help you make more money and scale your business quicker. And of course, again, the brand recognition is very strong. Like with Turn 14, they do a lot of, they sell like Cobb, which is, big in the car industry, AEM, all types of things, and that's what you want. You want that brand recognition. But like I said, here's these wholesale products, Craftsman's tools, they're well known, they're in really, really high demand. You're not necessarily going to be having to find methods to run PPC and do giveaway campaigns and all that, because you're just going to be jumping directly on this. Okay, right on. I can tell you for a fact that I get KW V3 coilovers, all right, for roughly $2,300. MSRP on those are almost $3,000. I typically will sell them for a little bit less. All right, you're looking at roughly a $400 profit. Okay, I couldn't do that if I was buying them on sale, like retail pricing. Even if I got them, let's say they were like, oh, we're going to sell these for $2,800, but we're going to give them to you for $2,600. It's just not enough, man. By the time you ship them in and they're housed at Amazon, you're losing a lot of money. But if I'm, making $500 or fulfilling the order myself, 500 is better than 200, guys, a lot better than 200. And that's where wholesale comes in, where you sign these contracts. If you look here, look at the net margins for a lot of these items, and the revenue, you guys do not have to be the holy grail in order to make money. You guys don't have to be the best when it comes to product research like you would be with private label. Wholesale, you just have to find the right suppliers. You got to find things that people already want. So it will take some creativity, but not near as much as with private label. And they're obscene. I mean, some of these, suppliers can get you pricing that's just ungodly, like ungodly low. You're like, man, how in the world can I sell this item for $1,000 and get it for $200? It just blows my mind, and that's where, the brand recognition comes in, and you guys building these, building rapport and building the business relationships where they allow you to get these. And then sometimes they even hook you up and they're like, hey, look, we're going to send you some of these to test out. Let us know what you think, see if your customers like these, and, we'll give you better pricing, because, manufacturers tend to do that with wholesale suppliers, but you can see here with AMZScout, look, you guys can see the product score. This is what I'm talking about. Amazon, AMZScout will tell you if this product is good or not based on this score. And if you go in there, it'll tell you why the product is good. There'll be a criteria of why. You look at the revenue, guys, 53,000, 300,000, 154,000, 53,000. You can get your piece of the pie with wholesale because there's so many different items from Craftsman. You don't just have to sell, drills. You guys can sell, wrenches or air compressors or whatever, your budget can allow. Now, there are problems with that though, and we're going to get into that, not right now though. So finding wholesale products, you want to find suppliers that are Amazon friendly, because not every wholesale supplier is going to be okay with you selling those products on Amazon. There's rules, okay? There are tons of rules, and you're going to need an LLC, guys. Like you're not going to be able to get a wholesale contract without having an LLC. At minimum, an EIN. You can actually get an EIN from the government. You can go to the IRS website, get one for absolutely free. Now, the company that I use to set up my LLCs is based out of Delaware. It's called Inc. Now. I use them because guess what? Delaware is a tax-free state. So it's very favorable for taxes. There's other places like Nevada, Florida, Wyoming that kind of have some of the same perks. You'll just have to figure out which one is right for you. All right. You want to find these products that have, a higher sales volume so you can put that LLC to good use. You don't want to get products that no one wants to buy. The whole point of going wholesale is to have products that people want to buy. All right. And then there's places like BBCW that, they do a lot of selling of toys, games, things like that, where you don't have to have a buy-in. Now, unfortunately, some wholesale, suppliers will require a buy-in. Like Turn 14 required a few $1,000 buy-in. All right, they're like, look, we need to know that you're serious about doing business with us, so therefore you have to buy in. Kind of sucks, all right? Kind of sucks a good bit. But BBCW is one of the few companies that doesn't. They just want to know that you're serious about doing business by having an LLC and EIN and all these, and then that you can hook them up, that you can start getting sales for them, because ultimately they're in business to make money. They're not in business just to give discounts. Okay. And you don't want to get into suppliers that you can't necessarily afford just for the sake of having a wholesale supplier. Having someone who charges you $2,000 or $3,000 for a buy-in when all you have is $2,000-$3,000, like it's not worth it. You're gonna basically lose your backside on that. And again, the problems with wholesale, guys, like, you need to have a business. Okay, you need to have a business. There's no way around it. You got to have an LLC or EIN at minimum. All right, if you don't, you can't sign these contracts, because the suppliers don't care. They're like, look, we want to do business with a real business, with someone who is ready, someone who wants it. All right, now the minimum pricing, that's kind of a pain as well. All right, minimum advertised price. Sometimes you can't sell those items for less. Like, even though you know that you're going to make a profit and you can sell it for this price, the manufacturer will say, nope, this is our minimum advertised price. If you sell below that, you could potentially lose your contract. And that is not something that you want. So you guys got to be careful with that. All right. And then again, it can be cost prohibitive, because if you got to have a few $1,000 buy-in, guess what? A lot of people don't have a few $1,000s to buy into a wholesale contract. They're just kind of out of luck. All right. And sometimes you only can sell FBA. There's some suppliers that I have, they're like, bro, we won't drop ship this for you. You gotta go FBA only. So you have to buy it in bulk, which means now you're spending even more money to get them in for FBA. It's kind of a pain, but wholesale is just one of those things, man. It's just nice to have. All right. So now that we went through that, let's answer a couple more of your questions. Let's see, Tatira, you did ask how much you could make per month. Like I said, it's going to depend on your budget and your selling method. You could be making $5, you could be making 50,000 bucks. It really just depends. Okay, what's the difference between AMZScout and Helium 10? Helium 10 has, what I consider niceties, things that you don't need. All right, I've used Helium 10, just not my cup of tea. I've been on Amazon for 6 years, and I was using AMZScout long before they even put me on a webinar, if that tells you anything. And I sell over $1 million a year. So AMZScout. Plus, there's a link in the chat to get a discount, my guy, and you get my course for free. So you're getting my course for free. You're getting my Facebook group, Telegram group, all that. You're getting to come to my masterminds and everything for free when you buy AMZScout Pro. You get all their packaging, whole nine. When would be the best time for an LLC? I started doing an LLC when I was getting into wholesale. I already had an LLC before I started selling on Amazon, because I already had wholesale suppliers, but I knew I wanted to continue selling wholesale. So therefore, I went ahead and just had my LLC. You want to use the Amazon Sellers Bundle for €24.99 a month. Will the money be debited monthly throughout the year? What are you doing? No, they're going to bill you monthly, dude. Well, it depends on what platform. Like for America, they bill you every month. You want to sell for the beauty category, but you need to be approved. Yes, you do, because you're doing topicals. I do not recommend selling in topicals. It's dangerous, guys. It's dangerous selling in topicals unless you know the product 100% for sure is not going to break someone's face out or burn their skin off or something. Don't do it. That's why you go wholesale for topical and beauty. So little tip right there. Brand registry only with logo on the product. You're not going to get brand registry without getting a trademark. Okay, you need to be trademarked. There's a whole lot of stuff you need to go through, and you probably are going to have to hire an attorney to help you with the trademarking. Just going to be honest with you, that's what I had to do. If you're doing a private label product, would it be a good idea to buy the product first to see how it works? Yes, that's actually, we talked about that, where you're going to be getting samples sent to your house because you want to make sure that you're good to go. All right, now I'm going to get to your other questions, but we're going to skip those right now. I'm going to get to the other questions. You guys just hold on, all right? I promise. So now we're going to talk about just the problems in general with drop shipping and selling online. So people don't know that you can actually drop ship on Amazon. You got to be the seller of record and a few other things, but you can actually do it. It's not against terms of service if you do it correctly. But like I said, there's problems with drop shipping, with selling on Amazon in general. Doesn't matter if it's FBA, FBM, whatever. Suspensions happen, guys, at some point. Like with drop shipping, FBA does not matter. You will be suspended. Every seller who's been on Amazon for multiple years has been suspended at some point. Every single one of us. I've been suspended. My friends have been suspended. That's just the nature of the beast. As long as you're doing things correctly, you can come back from that. You know, if you apologize to Amazon and say, hey, look, you know, I messed up. Even if you didn't mess up, because sometimes Amazon gets it wrong, you come back and you say, look, I messed up. I'm sorry. You know, please give me another chance. They're just going to let you back on because Amazon wants to make money. They don't want to lose money. You know, sometimes they're just a pain about it. You know, you got to be on top of your metrics, guys, especially when you're drop shipping. Okay. If you're drop shipping, you're not necessarily in control like Amazon is with FBA. Like, you're going to have to make sure your suppliers are on it, man. Your metrics can tank. If you got to cancel orders and, oh man, your order defect rate can spike. And next thing you know, you're getting suspended because you got all these cancellations and it just sucks. And, you know, oops, sorry guys. You know, capital will be one of the limiting factors for you, which leads me to the question that that Tatira asked about. You know, how much money can you actually make? Well, how much money do you have? All right, if you only got $200, unfortunately, you're really not going to make a lot of money unless you're getting a product for like 50 cents and you're selling it for $100. Very uncommon. Now, I have seen products that have, you know, been purchased for like $2 and sold for 70. But more often than not, that's not going to happen. So you're going to be capital limited, especially when it comes to drop shipping. You know, Amazon, you know, sometimes the competition can be high depending on the item. There's more buyers than there are sellers on Amazon, but depending on the product, the competition is just ungodly. You might get into a wholesale or retail arbitrage category or product, and boom, you know, you got 50 freaking sellers on there. You might be one of 2 sellers initially, and in 2 months later, you got 50 people on there driving the price down to where you're no longer profitable. Okay. You know, you might get into a private label niche where you're like, yo, I'm making $100,000 a month. Next thing you know, people who are using AMZScout, they find these products too. They come in and you just start taking some of your market share. You got to be prepared for that, guys. You got to be prepared. You know, check out the link, man. You get all the AMZScout tools, and you get my course to help you, you know, combat that, man. Because there's so many different methods that you can use, but we can't go into detail in them within, you know, like an hour or so. You know, and suppliers can, and sometimes they will. They'll up the price on you guys. Like, there's some suppliers, if they realize they have a hot product, guess what? They're just gonna up the price on you. They're just gonna up it. They're like, screw you guys. We're gonna raise the price because we're selling so many of them. Now your margins are hit. So if you had a product where the margins were kind of razor thin anyway at 10%, if they raise that price 5%, now your margins are 5%. They're making more money, you're making less money, but them's is the breaks. You know, and Amazon is a cash flow business, guys. Like, e-commerce is a cash flow business unless you're trying to build like a long-standing brand. And even then, it's cash flow, guys. It's a cash flow business. It's in and out. You should be using Amazon money as a way to grow your brand or get into other investment vehicles, okay? Amazon is an amazing tool for that. That's what I use Amazon for. Even though I have brands on there that have been long-standing because I've been on for 6 years, I use that money just as a vehicle to start investing in other things, real estate. You know, I buy more cars, like I buy a lot more cars actually. You know, I mean, I dump it into my car shop. We're building another, you know, structure. We're doing all these different things. Like, use it for what it is worth. And if you're drop shipping, guys, or you're private labeling and having those products come from China, sometimes the shipping times can suck really bad. You know, you guys might be waiting 3-4 weeks, you know, for a product to get there. And that's not okay when it comes to customers. All right. You need to have suppliers that can hook them up. There are ways around this, of course, and we'll discuss them, you know, but just know shipping times can be really, really tough. You know, it might not be fun whatsoever. Your sales don't go over 3 to 5 pieces per day and its quantity doesn't increase. What are the reasons that may be? Seems like there is some limiter. There is a limiter actually, Nick. So your sales are not going over 3 to 5 pieces per day. You need to check your ACoS if you're running PPC. If you're not running PPC, you should be running PPC, okay? Do not just rest on your laurels. You need to be running PPC, and you have to have really good campaigns. I recommend starting off on an automatic campaign so you can pull your best keywords, which ones are most profitable, and then switching over to a manual campaign with those good ones, and then use the ones that didn't make you any money, negative campaign. All right. These obscure suppliers, bro, they are all over. Actually, it depends. Are you going to be doing wholesale, retail arbitrage, or private label? Private label, you can find private label manufacturers here in the US, but a lot of people are going to go to China. You know, they're going to go to Alibaba and go from there. Now, these obscure suppliers, it really just depends on the products, you know. So like you got to give me something to work with there, Steve. All right. The cost of the training. If you buy my course without AMZScout Pro, it's $597, guys. $597 as opposed to $499. You get my course, you get all the goodies, and you get AMZScout. Like, and you get all the AMZScout stuff. You get all the good stuff. You get the Keyword Explorer, the whole nine, which is really important when you're building out a listing. You gotta have a good Keyword Explorer, guys. Like there's no way around it. Without, if you're creating listings and you don't have good keywords, your listing's screwed. You're done. Like, people aren't going to be able to find you. No, private label is actually more profitable than wholesale as far as like profit margins. Now, you can do more volume with wholesale just because those products are what people already want to buy. So Marcus Hilt, hopefully that answers that for you. How much do you need to start selling on Amazon? Samuel, I've already answered that a few times. Answered that quite a few times. It really just depends. If you're doing private label drop shipping, like $500. Retail arbitrage, if you're drop shipping retail arbitrage, you need like at least $3,000 from the beginning. And same thing with private label. If you're going to be doing FBA, you need minimum $3,000 because you'll be running PPC. You need to have good products, and you're going to have to get enough of them so that way you can do somewhat of a giveaway. All right. How about a Canadian seller in the US connecting with wholesale suppliers? You're a Canadian seller, so you're in America selling on the Canadian market, or are you Canadian selling, on the US market? So maybe you're a Canadian seller selling on the US market, you need to have an American LLC. All right. So you got to have an LLC, and you need an EIN at minimum. But BBCW is really good for toys and games if you guys want to get into that. How much is the bundle, Adriana? It's $4.99. You guys check that out. If you buy my course separately, it's $5.97. You buy this, it's $4.99. You get all the AMZScout stuff, and you get my course, and you have me helping you, and you get the groups. You get the Facebook group, you get the Telegram group, the whole nine. So you guys can have me helping you through all of this. It covers everything about selling on Amazon step by step. Literally, like push button here, AMZScout for this, push button here. This is a niche you should go in, that type of stuff. How do you move ahead when you encounter a request authorization or need to prove you have permission to sell? If it's a wholesale item, Lori, you need to have wholesale contracts. You need to have a letter of authorization that you can submit to Amazon, and you need to have some form of inventory that you can show them. All right. Period. End of discussion. Or you can request authorization if your account's good, or they say, hey, you need to have certain purchases and you need to buy their minimum quantity, which is generally 10. So you need to have an invoice for roughly 10 of those items, so that way you can send them into Amazon and they will authorize you. All right. You got to spend money to make money. How do you get in contact with companies for wholesale? Wheezy, getting in contact with wholesale suppliers. It really depends on the category. Like for me, I'm in the car, car niche, automotive, whatever you want to call it. Turn 14, Cobb, Motivicity, TSM, Speed by Design, like different companies that sell car products, I am going to be reaching out to. If you're in toys and games, recommend going with companies like BBCW. Check them out. They can hook you up. You get all types of Funko Pops, things like that. What categories do I recommend for wholesale? You go, man. It's really going to depend on your budget. All right. I recommend home goods if your budget's very, very low, because typically things are not that expensive in that category. I do not sell on eBay. It's just not my thing. The margins are very low. I do have my own website though. I have a car shop, so therefore we actually have a website to sell a lot of our products. At this level, we create our own products. We can manufacture them in-house, so we can wholesale them out for ourselves, which is something that you guys will end up getting into. Actually, I do go over how to find suppliers in the course. I tell you exactly where to find them. Actually, the course says, hey, go here. And the Facebook group actually has, hey, go to these suppliers right now because of the pandemic. It depends, man. If you're doing retail arbitrage, let's see, is it better to list under already existing listings or create a new listing for a product that is already on Amazon? Private label, you're going to be creating your own listing. Doesn't matter if you're doing wholesale and retail arbitrage, the listing's already going to exist unless you find a supplier who does not have any wholesale listings on Amazon, and they give you authorization to create those, which is really, really nice. Those guys are usually in like industrial and scientific though. You're going to be doing a lot of industrial inventory. Yes, you follow the link, shows checkout, definitely check that out. Do you advise doing all three on one account, or would it be wiser to separate accounts? It really just depends, man. It really just depends. So, I mean, you can do all those methods on one account, but it gets kind of convoluted unless you know exactly which items are coming from where and stuff like that. I would recommend trying something out first. I try one method first and then see how you like doing it on that account, and then potentially adding in maybe private label or retail or wholesale, depending on what you start with from there. All right, and if you're drop shipping from Walmart and stuff like that, I do not recommend it because your account's going to get suspended at some point, and you don't want to have a ton of wholesale items in there or wholesale inventory in FBA especially and be screwed. How often does the AMZScout Pro niche rating change? It changes pretty frequently depending on the sellers that come in. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. So you might get into a category that has a really high niche rating, and then all of a sudden 1,000 other sellers come on, and then that niche rating drops. So you want to keep a good eye on that, my guy. Why would Amazon steal your item? Because it's profitable, Mike. That's why Amazon is always in the business of making money, my guy. Always in the business of making money. So Amazon is definitely going to do their best to get that money. Is this being recorded? Don't have any sound. Keith, I am not sure why you don't have any sound, my guy, but I don't know. Maybe they are recording it. It just depends on the interest. Dude, hey, Dwayne, you're from the Northeast. That is awesome. You want to try. Check out the bundle, dude. It'll help you out. AMZScout will definitely help you get into the game. Whether you're doing private label or wholesale, retail arbitrage, it does not matter. The tool is useful, guys. I could not do $1 million a year if it was not for AMZScout. Like, no BS. I couldn't do it because you have to have software, man. You got to have software. And at this level, like, you got to be smart with it. You got to be smart, and the software is what's going to help you.
This was an amazing live event, and right now you can get your complete toolset for Amazon sellers. It comes with AMZScout's own course on how to find a profitable product and sell it on Amazon. Grab this bundle for only a fraction of these tools' original cost. Click the link in the description to take advantage of this special offer.